Martin coming on down to see it.
Yeah, each week we will have a fan segment and we'll have a player segment. And today our fan is the one, the only, Carrick Martin. Carrick, welcome back, buddy, or welcome to the Owls Who Live Sports Show. He's getting hooked up here with his
He's
headphones.
been with us before, but never on this show. He is the first guest ever.
I am honored.
We
are
honored
too.
to have you here.
So hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo.
You're in the hoot
Am I the
seat.
first one to say that?
You're
You're
the
the first
person.
one to sit in the hoot seat.
Hooty
Go Owls. All right.
hoo.
Never can tell what'll happen.
There
Yeah.
you go. So, Carrick, how did you get involved with KSU, and what made you become a sponsor and a fan?
Well, my dad took a job here in 1968, and it paid and fed me for a lot of years as it paid him. And I reconnected with the university in 2005, and it's been a lot of fun since then. I love college sports.
So that's why you're here.
Well, I graduated from Kennesaw Junior College. I went on to the University of Georgia, became a double dog, but I am pretty smart in that if I give $500 to the University of Georgia Athletic Department, they're kind of like, thank you. And if I give $500 to the Kennesaw State University Athletic Department, it's like a
Red
fiesta
carpet.
parade, woo, like this. It's awesome. So you can still talk to the coaches. We have a coach over there.
We're going to have her on in the last segment.
Yes, and you can talk to the athletic director, and you can have a lot of access if you spend the time working on it. So
Small town school.
that's it.
Small South
That's
School,
it.
big time aspirations.
That's
Big
right.
time. Big time.
130,000 alumni now, so 65,000, 70,000 are in the Atlanta area. So we have good representation around our school.
Well, and as far as the population of the school, one thing that I read, although it's the second biggest school in the state of Georgia, it actually had the largest freshman class last year.
Yes.
So I don't know what it takes for a school to become the largest school, but I'm guessing if you have the largest freshman class year after year, you'll probably be that soon enough.
Well, I will tell you too, I am also a vice president of the Alumni Association, so I have a lot of useless and pertinent information. But we have more students pursuing 4-year degrees than any other school in the state of Georgia.
That's an awesome. That's
That's
awesome.
an awesome fact. That's an awesome fact. And football became in 2015, isn't that right?
That's correct. 2015 was our first season.
And we just joined the ASUN this year. Is that correct?
We have been in the ASUN for all sports
Except
except
football.
football until this year because the ASUN did not sponsor football, and they have put together a conference, and we are playing our first year in it.
And I think the first ASUN game is over at Jacksonville State
Yes.
on the
October the 1st, there will
October
be
the
an
1st.
alumni tailgate there, and we'll have big festivities going on.
yeah. And we're at we'll talk about the football schedule later. It's a great time for KSU. A great time to be involved in KSU sports. There's so much going on. We'll get into the schedule a little bit later. We also have a former KSU running back, Mr. Darnell Holland.
Holland, yeah.
Holland that's going to be on with us.
Who is in the USFL
That's
now.
correct. He is a
He is in the
professional
USFL.
athlete.
He
Yes.
is a first professional athlete we've had on. Isn't
Yes,
it?
sir, it
Other
is.
than Carrick.
Well,
Yeah, well, I'm a professional banker. My athletic career kind of stopped at junior varsity in high school at the great Sprayberry High School.
Sprayberry High.
Yeah. Big rivals for the McEachern High where I went.
Yeah.
So
Well, there was only 2 schools back then, guys.
Yeah,
pretty much the only two.
I
Yeah.
remember we beat McEachern my senior year.
Everybody beat McEachern our senior
hey.
year. McEachern went 0-10 my junior and senior year.
We
in
were the
football.
that was the only game we won, but we beat y'all.
Oh, was it really the only
Yeah.
game you won?
Yeah.
Well, that's wild. So, what other sports do you? I mean, we all love football. College football is my favorite sport in the world. But what other sports do you support? I mean, I know you support all of them, but is there a favorite of yours?
Well, I'd like the basketball, college basketball, and I'm fortunate enough to have hung around enough and encourage other people to do it. I now have courtside seats for men's and women's basketball.
Very
That's
nice.
pretty cool.
And
we actually have a Wheeler graduate that's now the coach of the men's basketball team, right?
That's correct, yes. So, Amir Abdur-Rahim, younger brother of Sharif Abdur-Rahim.
Former Yellow Jacket.
Go Jackets.
Yeah. So he played decade and a half in the NBA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in baseball, every seat is a good seat because the stadium is so close to home plate.
A lot of college baseball fields are like that, though.
Yeah,
aren't they?
well, it's a
Really
little
cool
it's a
stadium.
little too intimate, but
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I always talked about KSU baseball from the standpoint that there's so many high school baseball players in the county. Even after the big schools get their pick of all the lefties and all the power hitting right fielders, there's still enough players locally for KSU to do extremely well.
Yes, and we did. We won our conference this year, the ASUN Conference. Went to the NCAA regionals and had a player drafted in the 10th round this year. We had several signees drafted, and 2 or 3 of them have decided to turn pro rather than to come onto campus. But that's cool. And the Mets pitcher Jacob DeGrom went to Stetson University, who is in the ASUN, and he has pitched at Kennesaw. There was a great game several years ago where we had a pitcher, Kyle Heckinger, for KSU, who was a first-round draft pick, and he pitched against Jacob DeGrom at Stetson, and that was a very exciting Friday night game.
I'm sure it was for him. And you even threw out the first pitch of the game this year, didn't you?
A couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago, I remember
when
you
UGA came.
Oh, when UGA came. Yeah.
Shout out to my daughter Skylar, who goes to Stetson.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's cool.
She goes to Stetson Law School.
Wow. I'll be nice to her.
Yeah, I will too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. A lot of local connections here, and this is just another reason that the community of Kennesaw and all of Cobb County, really Metro Atlanta, need to be involved in KSU sports.
Well, it's like I say, it's something that you can be very close to the action, and you can know the players and you can know the coaches, and it gives you a sense of community.
And if you want to be a sponsor of KSU or a KSU athlete, please reach out to us at 470-9GO-ALS, and we'd be glad to accept any donations that will go to the athletic department to help further our cause here in Cobb County and the lovely town of Kennesaw.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
what do you think is going to be the catalyst for everybody for KSU making it to the forefront in everybody else's mind?
Athletic success. It's our academic success is there, but they say the athletics is the front porch of the university. I think men's basketball, if they could make the NCAA tournament, that will be quite a profound moment.
Sure.
Same with women's basketball. And if baseball can get to the College World Series, which they were only 2 wins away from that.
Oh, they had a big
I
loss.
was watching that
Mississippi
LSU
State,
game.
Yeah.
So, success like that will draw more attention, but it's not something that happens one time.
Nope.
But it's got to be a consistent effort. So
Yeah.
it's there.
Well, and that's what you're seeing from the football team especially, but I think all the sports.
Yep.
Yeah, very excited about what's going on in our community. You see a lot of hats and shirts being worn around town supporting KSU.
Well, if you ask Coach Bohannon about his first time on campus when he was interviewing, he said he saw a lot of Georgia shirts, a lot of Auburn shirts, and nobody was wearing a KSU shirt. And I think that culture is changing.
Yep.
That culture has changed a lot. You can go to Walgreens or Costco or just about anywhere else and
Yeah.
find a KSU shirt. So.
Yeah.
So did you think the I know we've had some guys win some national championships in track and field
Yes.
as well.
We had a hammer thrower, Daniel Hall is his name, and he won the hammer throw for the NCAA and went to USA Track and Field Championships, qualified for the Olympics. We won that last year, and this year he qualified for the World Championships. So
That's awesome. Corvallis, Oregon is where that was, right?
Yeah.
I think where he won. So to this point in time, what is the greatest accomplishment of the KSU athletic department, would you say?
Well, they won the men's Division II basketball championship in 2004. They won a regional in baseball in 2014, I want to say. So that's probably it. They won multiple championships in baseball and softball at the Division II level. So we've had quite a lot of moments. It's just been a little tougher sledding in Division I era.
Yeah, and it's tough to build a program like that, coming into a Division I, moving up from two. Probably the baseball teams reaching the super regionals, probably the coolest thing that's happened.
Yeah, I know that the school had more than 1 million hits on the website that week that they were in the super regionals.
And that's Ryan Coe, right, is the coach?
He is the coach now. It was Coach Sansing then. But Ryan Coe learned how to coach from Coach Sansing, was an All-American here, spent 10 years as an assistant coach, then went and was a scout for the Texas Rangers for 12 years, and now has come back as our head coach.
Nice.
That's fantastic. I've met him, really nice guy. Met his whole staff. Carrick, as he said, is vice president at Vinings Bank, and he always offers a invitation to the community, to the coaches that come on board at KSU, and it was an honor to be invited to that. Like I said, I got to meet Coach Bohannon first, and then Milton Overton, the AD, and then we had the most recent one was for Ryan Coe and his staff. Very enjoyable time. So want to get more involved. Robert and I both want to get more involved with KSU sports. I know they have an Owls Club here every other week. Did you know that? Or for away games? Yes,
there's an Owls Club. Rich Hall runs that, and they meet here. It's semi-affiliated with the university.
Not the Canadian comedian.
No, not that Rich Hall.
Okay,
this is a tall Rich Hall.
Tall Rich Hall.
But they do things. They're going to meet here on Thursday night, September the 1st, to have a watch party for the football game when we play at Sanford.
Yeah, we'll be here for that.
And they do a number of things.
Yeah.
And
well, hopefully we're going to get some people from that night that want to be on the show.
Yeah.
And we really want to promote the fan base at KSU and find out why they support KSU and where their passion is about it. And we're also going to have players on, like Darnell that we're about to have on next. So very excited to be involved in the KSU community. You got any other questions for Carrick?
I do not, but I have a feeling that he's going to be a guest on this show again.
He's actually coming back later. We're going to bring on Darnell for a few minutes, but we're going to bring Carrick on to talk about what's going on going forward and remind us the lacrosse coach's name.
Her name is Laura Manus.
Laura Manus.
One of the best lacrosse coaches in the whole entire world.
So we'll probably have her in, and then we'll bring you back in and talk about the upcoming schedule for KSU.
All right. That'd be great.
Thanks, Carrick.
Thank you.
All right. So, Robert, why don't you do our promo for Modern Image, and then we'll get Darnell in to join us, and this will be very cool. I've never talked to a USFL athlete before.
There you go. No, he's a very nice guy, Modern Image is a locally owned document and photograph scanning company that helps clients secure. Nobody can help him drink. I can only read it so fast. Document and photograph scanning company that helps clients secure and use paper files and photos. Whether it's important business files or sentimental family photos and videos, Modern Image is dedicated to helping clients solve problems around paper. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. David is a big dog fan.
He made us say that. You know, if you want to pay us money, next week we'll make Chuck say that.
I don't know about that, but
Chuck, you'll do anything for money.
I'll do anything for KSU to get money.
There we go.
That's
that
what
works for me.
I'm talking about.
Hey,
so,
here comes a guest.
Here comes a guest, our second guy in the hoot seat. So we're very excited to have Mr. Darnell Hammond. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Get your little headphones on there so you'll be able to hear us. Guys, we are in the midst of a USFL football running back. I am so excited. But Darnell, first tell us your story. Tell us, I know you went to Bowden High School. You had a big senior year down there. And is that what got you the scholarship at KSU?
Well, to be honest, it took more than just being a senior, star at Bowden. I had a couple guys reach out on my behalf. Marcus Thurman, specifically, who had already signed with Kennesaw the year of their eligible year of playing. So he reached out to Coach Glanton and a couple offensive coaches, and they went out and looked at me and thought I would be good enough to get a partial scholarship to, play for them the first official season. It was a good season at first. I really enjoyed it, kind of getting the hang of college football. But overall, I felt that this was a great learning experience just coming back to the Kennesaw area, or coming to Kennesaw area from a small town like Carrollton, Georgia.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is it like knowing that you're coming to a college that's never played games before, and you're taking part in all of that stuff? There is no rich history that somebody's telling you about. You're the one who's making the rich history. You're the one cutting the trail. So what was that like?
The unique thing is that it's very similar to just being a first-year college student. I mean, as a freshman, you still don't know what to expect. The nervous thing was I had nobody to ask questions. There was no tradition I could follow. There was no, book that we could follow. There's no older guys we could follow. So just being a good person ultimately kind of panned out for this program, honestly. Like guys like Chandler Burke, who, he battled injury when I got there. I never saw him play originally because he was hurt. So just following those guys who are great people, great leaders, really tend to shift our program into where it went towards the end of our season.
And Chandler was the first quarterback, right?
Yes, Trey White was actually the guy I played with my first 2 years. I think Chandler just battled a lot of injuries, and so I don't recall playing with him as much. But after Trey White battled his injuries, Chandler Burke stepped up, and we were able to win 2 championships under him.
Yep.
17 and 18.
Yes, sir.
17 and 18. Wow. Seemed like so long ago, but it was only 5 years. That's cool. So what's it like to be a college athlete? What's the step up from being a stud at Bowdoin, and then you step on the KSU campus?
Yeah, I would always say it's more responsibility. Again, you can't really prepare for it. I think what you do at home and what you do with your parents, how you treat everyone, ultimately it's all a big thing. So how you handle your work, how do you handle time management? How do you handle when things get hard and get difficult? Are you going to cower away, or are you going to step up and kind of dig it out and grind it out? And guys like coaches like Coach Carizzi, Jim Carizzi, he was very quick to get up in front of all the players and show that this is not going to be easy, and if we're not making it hard, we're not doing our job. So guys like him made life harder but more realistic, and ultimately prepared us to be better men and players at the end of the day.
That's what the world needs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we need athlete students and student athletes,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
That's
School
really
wasn't
good.
always the easiest part, but once you handled and managed sports and what the team asked of you, then you could set the other time aside to get your sleep, to get your healthy digestive stuff going on, and then the school. Because again, it's hard to do school if you're hungry or you're sleepy. So we just kind of figured out how to manage football first and then work our way around after that.
Yeah. I tell you, the most amazing stat I read about you was you had over 11 yards per carry in your senior year.
That's correct.
There aren't too many people that can say they had 11 yards per carry in any league, no matter who you're playing against.
And conventional armchair quarterbacks look at a stat like that and they go, well, they should have gone undefeated and won a national championship. They just didn't hand it to you enough.
Yes, sir. And that's where, like, Kennesaw and triple option, it plays a huge part in my success because everything works as one. Right. And so those pitches that would come to me, there was never a bad pitch, because only time I would get a pitch is if Chandler Burke sees an odd number, or a cornerback or a defensive back read the quarterback. So when I think about my stats, I think about that everything just worked out. I would not get a pitch if it wasn't my read. And so that's where I feel like a lot of my reads came in. And then I knew that if any time Chandler pitched me Chandler pitched me the ball, it was meant to be. Like, that wasn't an accidental pitch. And so anytime that ball came out of Chandler's hands, I had to, take advantage of it. And everything I saw was end zone. I mean, that's how I play.
The fullback takes a lot of abuse on all those dive plays, but when it comes time for the pitch on the outside,
yes, he does a lot of the inches so we can get the deep ball, and that's how it works. So, I mean, Coach Chestnut, he's been an amazing guy, amazing offensive coordinator for Kennesaw, because some of the plays that he did to guarantee me the ball, it almost looked the same. It almost looked like it was a read play. And so when you set your offense up with guys who know football and know how to trick defenses, I mean, it makes my job a lot easier. There's a lot less thinking in my position, because all I know is when I get the ball, go score. And so if I trust my tracks, trust what the coaches are setting up for us, the season would go, phenomenal all 4 seasons. And so sadly, I didn't have a great first 3 seasons, battled injuries and battled just kind of learning the program. But I'm just thankful that 4th season was enough to, get me some opportunities after college football.
Well, you're a very humble man, because I assure you, your first 3 years of statistics were not that bad. When you're averaging 4 yards a carry and everything else, I mean, you were doing a lot of damage. And like you said, you weren't able to follow a trail. You're blazing a trail for every person who's followed you. And shout out, as we said earlier, to the big uglies, whether it be a fullback dive or a guard pulling. But there's it's a process, and you're a huge part of it.
And was it your sophomore, junior, where you were like 7th in scoring in the league?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Again, and that's what's funny about me is, like, I don't even look at the stats, because I know that there was a lot of times that our team let ourselves down because we had more to give, and we prepared very hard. And that's one thing about Kennesaw, is that every year we prepared very hard. And so when I get let down like that, it's just one of those things, like, I can't even give myself credit. When I trip and fall on the middle of the 20, 30-yard line, like, that's just embarrassing. But, while my team's laughing that I just tripped in open field, the next time I touch the ball, I score. And that's just how I look at it, And so that's
time to make up for it.
And that's how I look at it, is anytime there's opportunity, I have to, take full advantage of it. So first 3 seasons, I just didn't take full advantage of all the opportunities that the ball was pitched to me.
Oh, that's cool. So everybody's obviously appreciative of what you did for KSU. Tell me why another athlete should come to Kennesaw State.
I think if you want to become a better person, a better man, a gentleman, a human being, I think that Kennesaw will be a great fit, because it comes with a lot of obstacles. It comes with a lot of distractions from just being as close as we are to Marietta and Atlanta. But with that, we have great coaches who buy in. I know guys like Coach Darius Safford and Bohannon and Chestnut, and Coach Carizzi is my number 1 fave right now. He buys in this program, and he buys in with what he's putting in these kids. And at the end of the day, when you do that, the sky's the limit once you graduate or while you're in college. So when you have that opportunity for you, I think that a lot of guys will not turn it down when they realize all that's there in front of them after buying into a program.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this: USFL right now for you. When do you report back to the current team?
So there's not specific dates, but going back from last year or this year, I would say around March the 22nd, 23rd, 24th is when you'll report. First games will be in like April, like mid-April, and then you'll play until July. So with that season, based off of what we just played, I look forward to going back. I got around 6-7 months of training and off season. So
that's what I was going to ask. So what are you doing over the next 6 or 7 months?
Right now, I spend a lot of time with my daughter, catching up with my 1-year-old, and then I look forward to trying different training opportunities to challenge myself and challenge my body to get in different forms that football just brings. Just the unnatural movements, like CrossFit. I love to do. But ultimately, just to prepare myself to be the best player I can be for a team.
That's awesome.
So you and I had a little conversation on the phone the other night, and obviously your aspirations when you graduated from KSU were to go to the next level. What steps did you take to say, okay, here's what I need to do next to get to where I want to be?
I think it was a focus thing for me. A lot of guys got so much going on. Deaths, marriages, kids. There's a lot of distraction in life, and so for me, it was to create a focus. Create a focus for a better future for my family, create a financial wealth. And if football would be the avenue that I could create a financial wealth for my future family, I need to put more focus into it. If football was my gift, I need to put a little more focus into it. And so when I realized that I need to use football as my avenue right now to be the best person that I can be, because football has that effect that the sport alone can make you a better person if you want it to.
Very true.
And so that's what I did. I created football as my focus to become a better person, a better Christian, a better boyfriend, a better future husband, and a better son. And when I did that, I saw a lot of opportunities and doors open for me.
That's awesome. So we know all about Darnell, the great athlete. We know all because you played basketball too, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever have any desire to go play basketball at a higher level?
I've always had one. My dad's 6'5", I'm 5'9". So
oh wow,
he
Dang
had
it, Dad.
Aspirations, and I just.
Actually, I'm sorry. Dang it, Mom.
I know that's Mom's
Yeah,
fault
that's
right
Mom's
there. My
fault.
dad and my all my uncles are huge. They're all 6 foot up. But God blessed me with the opportunity to play football at a high level, and so I just took full advantage of that instead.
Okay, so appreciate you being a Christian. That's great. In my book, happy to have you on board. Tell us about Darnell outside the jersey. When you don't have the jersey on, what does Darnell like to do?
I love to go to church. I was telling some of the guys here at Miller's Ale House that, I enjoy going to Sterling Brown and Luke Woods at 925 every Wednesday night. I went and participated at North Star every Tuesday night and Sunday mornings, and so church was a great place and great community to build those relationships with people and kind of use what I did in college to build incredible and important relationships with guys like Nick Snowden and Luther Jones, guys that I played football with and went to school with. I used church to build a deeper level of relationships with some of the guys. Outside of church and football, I love playing basketball. That was something that I actually love to do in my free time. So just going to the gym, getting at that competitive nature outside was
Are you
important.
still playing?
I play for fun, yes, I do. I love it to keep active, but the risk that it gives, it's something I can't do consistently.
Are you precluded from playing
No.
by
no.
your USFL contract?
No, sir,
Because
not
you're on
at
a
all.
2-year contract, right?
Correct. So I love to play for fun, but at the end of the day, it was something I also enjoyed to compete. Like if you had a Connect 4 board right now, we would be jumping up and down as I beat you all 4 games because I'm the type of guy to be very serious in those games. Cornhole, yeah, you might beat me 3 or 4 games out of 5, but the one game I beat you, I'm going to let you feel it because I'm so competitive. But, again, those are some of the things I love to do outside of football. Cornhole, Connect 4. Shoot, if you had tic-tac-toe,
Competition, it
I would
sounds
play.
like.
Absolutely.
If there's a game, you're in.
Not water
I'm pretty
games, I can
much
tell you.
similar.
I'm not a part of the water games. I'm scared of water, so we don't do any water games.
You do take showers, though, right?
That doesn't count as
He
long as
does.
Okay, I'm just
He-
checking.
He does. I met him earlier.
So, yes, I love to shower, but anything in that water I don't really fool with as much. I don't play golf, and I don't do baseball. So those are about the few sports I can't get competitive in. I will let you know that ahead of time, but anything else, I'm willing to, give it a shot.
I'm going to say that you might be able to get competitive. You just currently have not become competitive
Yeah.
in those.
Which is why I avoid those opportunities that I have to show that.
Well, I will tell you, I don't know what the first years of Kennesaw Junior College were, but I went there in 74, 75, and 75, 76. We won the intramural basketball championship 2 years in a row. Our team was the Eagles because we love the band The Eagles.
So you still got it? Is what you're saying?
I can still shoot. I can't run up and down the court and then shoot like I used to.
Okay, I got
But
you.
last time I shot 100 free throws, I made 93. It's all muscle memory when you standing there.
Rick
and you
Barry.
breathe
I
and
never
you
knew I
shoot.
was sitting next to Rick Barry this whole time.
But I cannot run up and down the court and get my butt beat and then have to stand there and shoot. Shooting's a different animal.
That's a focus, like you just said. And, it takes extreme focus and extreme memory when it comes to those muscle memories that you're referring to. So that's incredible. I could never. So I applaud you for that.
Well, I'm an old guy now. I don't know how much I could play, but it was fun. Basketball was my love growing up. I wanted to be point guard for the LA Lakers, but I was too slow, too short. But if there would have been a 3-point line when I played, I might could have played some small college ball somewhere.
Well, you're showing me your age, and I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
No 3-point line.
Yeah, had Magic not taken that job, it might
That
have been
match,
Chuck's.
it could have been my. Well, I call myself Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So that was
Jabbar.
that was me. So yeah, that was cool. So how about music? What kind of?
I'm all around. I just went to Maverick City concert, Maverick City Church and Kurt Franklin in Birmingham. That was an amazing experience. A room, a place filled with, a spirit that was so overwhelming. I enjoyed it, and so ever since then, I've been having Maverick City Church and Kurt Franklin on repeat. I've always grew up listening to Kurt Franklin, so when it comes to gospel music, I have a couple of favorites, but overall, my top favorite right now is Maverick City Church and Kurt Franklin. But other than that, I listen to music as a vibe, not something that like I listen to gain any wisdom or anything like that. So I like to try to stick to podcasts in as much car rides as possible.
Are you familiar with Third Day?
I'm not, but
Okay.
I've heard of it, but I haven't listened to it.
So I'm a McEachern graduate, so he went to my high school.
Okay.
So
McEachern?
yeah.
Okay. I got a couple guys in there.
You got problems with McEachern?
No, I got some of my best friends who went to McEachern.
All right, just checking.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
now, as long as we're on the verge of talking some smack here, biggest high school rival, is that Haralson County
No.
or Carrollton City?
It would be Bremen, Georgia. Yes.
They were small, Bowden's a smaller division.
Yeah,
right?
we were both the Devils. So Bremen was the Blue Devils, and we were the Red Devils. And so my first year playing for Bowden, starting, we went 3-0. My freshman year, the seniors got beat to Bremen. It's something I hold that to them every single time I see those old guys at the bars. So, no, Bremen-Bowden is our top rivalries, but I just think that all our rivalries were really within ourselves, and we just had to have an exterior motivation to keep it alive. But the motivation, to see the guys from Bremen succeed has still been huge for me, because we got a lot of guys like C.J. Brewer from Bowden and kicker from Bremen who just took a picture at the highest stage of football. They were in their preseason game in the NFL, so like that's just huge to see the guys like that.
That is awesome.
That were rivals are handshaking and taking pictures at the highest level.
So a couple more questions and we'll let you get out of here. We hate to monopolize your time. But the step from college to USFL, what is that like?
It was a lot of open and closed doors, if you want to be honest with you. So to get to the USFL, I got cut from the NFL. I got cut from the Saints after rookie mini camp. It was a short-lived season. After that, I went to the XFL. XFL was doing really well. I was with the Dallas Renegades until COVID hit. When COVID hit, kind of stopped everything in its tracks. So, everybody's filing for bankruptcy and things like that. It was very scary. So after XFL, I did the Spring League, a professional developmental league that was not paying. Through that, I got an opportunity to play for a tryout with Seattle Seahawks. After the Seattle Seahawks, I got a call from a couple of my coaches from the Spring League that said they would bring me up for the USFL the upcoming season. So from there, the USFL has been amazing with opportunities, giving guys the exposure that they need, but ultimately just giving them another opportunity to get money to play a sport that they love. So USFL has been a great opportunity to just have fun, play a sport that you love, and possibly feed your family as well.
That's awesome. So you play with who?
The Philadelphia Stars.
And all games are played in Birmingham, isn't that right?
This past season.
This past season, yes, sir.
Will that be the same thing coming season?
With the XFL starting up again this year or the beginning of next year, there's going to be a lot of question marks right now, but from what I've heard, I know they've wanted 2 hubs, one in the north, one in the south. And with that being said, there'll be 2 different facilities that all the teams will be playing at. Yeah.
Games. Cool. All right, and the last question, and we'll let you go, is why should these businesses and individuals in Kennesaw give money to the KSU program?
That's a good question. Why should they? I think it's a great opportunity to give guys that extra motivation to go out there and play for something bigger than themselves. Obviously, you play for that name on the back of your jersey. You play for the name on the front of your jersey. But to know that you got people out in your community rooting for you and hoping for your success and wanting you to come eat with them, come fellowship with them after the game or before the game, I think it's a lot of opportunity that these businesses have that, they could really take advantage of. These financial advisors, these restaurants, these banks. They want our money. They want our support. I think the best way to do it is, you dive in first and show that you have our support first.
I think that's awesome. And, Carrick made a good point earlier that I would have never thought about. If you give $500 to the Georgia program, it's like, okay, thank you. You give it to $500 to KSU, you're part of us now. And we really want you to be involved.
Bang for your buck is much different.
Bang for your buck is a lot different. So, Darnell, God bless you, son. Thanks for being on the show with us today. And we'll have you back. Our first ever athlete guest. So,
yes,
how does that make you feel?
I thank you again.
Put a plaque up on the wall or something?
I'm still figuring out these first, man, with the USFL just passing up. I'm just appreciative to be here. I'm glad that Mr. Carrick recommended me because anytime I can get out here in front of Kennesaw fans, I would love to show support and show recognition to what program built me to be the person I am today. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate y'all for letting me come out here and talk.
We appreciate you coming out.
Because you drove a long way. You drove from Noonan to come up here and be on our show today. And we want to have you back, too, okay?
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all for having me.
You didn't come on a golf cart, right? I know that's Peachtree City, but it's right around the corner.
It's close.
No, that's not why I was in Noonan, so we would not be on a golf cart.
That's good.
That's awesome. Hey, if you would send Laura, the lacrosse coach, over,
I will.
of course, I appreciate it.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Darnell.
Thank you, sir.
How much fun was that, Robert?
I can tell you this, before I know who any of our next athlete guests are going to be, he set the bar pretty high.
He set a high bar, Darnell, so we look forward to seeing who we have next. But
there's nothing like somebody who's well-spoken and can, really get to the inside of what's important and how he's doing it.
he's got a good head on his shoulders for however old he is. He's
Absolutely.
and what a great experience to be able to play like college ball like this, and then go to the XFL, the USFL. To have an opportunity to do that.
Saints camp. I mean,
Seahawks camp. How cool is that?
Yeah, he can play it off if he wants to about, well, I wasn't at Saints camp very long. He was at Saints camp.
He was at Saints camp.
Last time I checked, I didn't go to Saints camp.
I didn't go to Saints
You didn't
camp.
go to Saints camp.
I didn't go to LA Lakers camp either. So
no, but you dreamed of that one.
I did dream of that one.
Abdul Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That was some of my high school basketball friends still call me
Here
Jabbar.
Comes our first coach ever.
Our first coach ever, Laura.
Wow,
welcome.
what an honor.
Get your little headphones on there.
Sure.
Not only that, our first female guest ever.
Female guest, first coach ever.
I'm so excited.
Setting the bar up.
So, Laura, introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah, sure. I'm Laura Manis. I'm the head women's lacrosse coach at Kennesaw State, and I am entering my 7th season with the program. So thank you for inviting me.
How long has there been a lacrosse team?
Great question. I believe we're in our 11th, starting our 11th season. Yeah.
Starting 11th year. And you've been here, you said,
7 of the
years?
11.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So a lot of people out there, I know a little bit about lacrosse. I had a friend whose sons played at Altoona, played a lot of lacrosse and went to a couple of games. But how much fun is it to play lacrosse?
It's so fun. You've probably heard it called the Creators Game. It's the most original game in the Americas, and it's been an honor to get to coach it every year and grow it to the game that you see today.
Yeah, it's fun. I've been to a couple of games. Life College, they have a team, right?
Life has a team.
Yeah.
A few other, like Reinhardt, Oglethorpe, Mercer. So it's really picking up in the state of Georgia. Kennesaw and Mercer are the only D1 programs in the state.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. And it's probably the fastest growing sport in the United States, I would think, because 20 years ago, nobody ever heard of lacrosse.
Yeah, 100%. It's been really booming at the youth level, and so every single year it's been really cool to see programs be added at the high school and youth level, and those athletes having this other option to play in college.
Absolutely. And it's kind of like for years and years, football coaches and everybody else always sent their kids to the soccer team so that they could run around and not get fat during the off season. And now all of a sudden there's 2 options to that. And I know the Iroquois Nation got to be proud that we're still playing their game.
Absolutely. It's a great crossover sport for those dual sport athletes that are seeking football and lacrosse. Lots of crossover. Actually, maybe you guys can help me. One of the football players,
Jim Brown.
Well, yes, but more recently,
that wasn't recent.
The Falcons just picked up a guy that played lacrosse in college, and then he's on the practice squad, I think.
Okay.
And then he played D2 lacrosse or D2 football, I think, at Saginaw Valley. So he just made. Yeah, so it's cool to see someone who got to play, both sports and then get his shot,
Well, I've got a friend who's they go to Etowah, and I know they got into lacrosse as a off-season conditioning, but now are starting to like it more than some of the other sports. So, obviously that's
And
that's where it goes.
That's probably a truism across the board. Once people play it, say, "Oh wow, this is really cool."
Yeah, it has the physicality of football, but the pace of play closer to like an ice hockey. So, if people seek that, it's really action packed and fun. So,
You think it's more of a spectator sport on TV or in person?
I personally like in person better. I think on TV, and I think on TV, we're hoping as a sport to really grow the game so that we can have quality announcers that can help people that aren't really familiar with it understand what's going on. I think when people understand a little bit more about what's going on in the game and what the calls mean, it'll be a little bit more viewer friendly for people to follow.
Sure.
And what's the best team you've had so far?
The best team. Actually, last year's squad, we just finished 11-6 in the regular season. We had a big win over Oregon at home, which was great.
Oh, wow.
And then we also beat Coastal Carolina on the road, and that gave us our third place finish in conference. So really good year this past year.
So you're ASUN too, right?
Yep, we're ASUN. Yep.
Yeah.
Do all the regular schools in ASUN participate?
No, it's a little bit interesting for lacrosse. So it's Jacksonville, us, Stetson. Those are like the regular teams. Liberty as well is actually going to stay in the ASUN for lacrosse. And then we have affiliate memberships. So we have Coastal Carolina is in our conference for lacrosse, and so is Delaware State. Queens has a program, so they're adding into the ASUN. They'll also be participating in lacrosse. And then Lindenwood University in St. Louis will also be adding in for just lacrosse.
Just lacrosse.
Mm-hmm. So how many games a year do you play? 17? Is that what you said, 11-6?
Yep, 17 regular season games and then conference play.
And it's Division One, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
you can play against the Johns Hopkins and all those.
Yep,
Notre
last
Dame,
year-
North Carolina.
Yep, last year we opened at Florida against the Florida Gators. So,
Oh, wow.
Yep, we
Play the Gators and the Ducks. That's pretty.
Yep,
That's a pretty
yep.
big year.
And in the past, we've put Notre Dame on the schedule. We've put year to year, it kind of changes. We've had teams like Vermont come down. We've had New Hampshire come down. We've played Duke. So we've gotten to play a wide variety of different teams from different conferences nationally. So that's been really cool. I think it's really helped put us on the map.
So you play Fifth Third Bank? Is that when you
Yes,
play
we
your
play
games?
Fifth Third Bank. Yep.
So what's your favorite stadium you've played at away?
I don't think anything compares to Fifth Third Bank.
Solid answer.
Solid answer, yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Do you mostly play on the football fields where you go?
Some do, some don't. A long time ago, I played on Cincinnati's football field, which was cool. Not with this program, but now Cincinnati has since moved their lacrosse team to a separate facility. So that I've played long time ago at U of M in their indoor facility.
Did you play in college?
Yeah,
And where did you play?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. The Mountaineers.
Yep.
Yep.
So.
So you said something about Vermont coming down, and so the area of the country where the sport originated, are they a little better still? I mean, is it one of those things where kids have started at an early age, and so that region is still good, or has that already tipped the scales, and you'll take the Harrison girls over the?
Yeah, I think it's cool to see every year just the local teams get just so good and so much stronger. The traditional areas of lacrosse are the Philly, the New York, Maryland, and New England. But now it's been really awesome to see the amount of D1 lacrosse players in the recruiting classes. I want the best kids in Georgia to stay in Georgia, but it's been also kind of a point of pride to see some of these local kids go to, top Power 5 women's lacrosse programs. So it's a testament to, I think, how much the local scene has grown and how hard the coaches and these players have worked to put Georgia on the map.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll let you get out of here with this. Where
flipped our switch.
So, is recruiting one of your favorite parts of coaching?
I love recruiting.
And where do you recruit?
I do a lot of tournaments all over the country. This past summer, I was everywhere from Air Force Academy to Kansas City to Maryland to Philadelphia, South Carolina, Charlotte. I try to go everywhere. I try to send my staff everywhere and try to find the best of the best. So it's fun over the summer to really get out there and to different teams in different areas.
So how much time is yours is spent recruiting?
Almost the entire summer, and then all of November.
So we're lucky to have you here today, is what you're saying, because you should be out on the recruiting trip.
Well, now that students are back on campus, so I'm off the road. I'm invested in our current players. So.
That's awesome.
Let me ask you one more thing. Georgia Swarm.
Mm-hmm.
They play. They borrow your facilities occasionally. What's that like? Do you do they help at all with some of your teams or?
So Georgia Swarm plays in the indoor facility. I forget what it's called. They're the indoor team. There's a pro team that plays outdoor.
Yeah, they play in
too.
Gwinnett.
Yeah, Gwinnett.
Civic
Yes,
Center,
yeah. But I mean, obviously, the lacrosse community is pretty small, so it's good to have. They've won championships.
Correct.
So it
correct.
is great to have them in our backyard. People are familiar with them, and their games are awesome to go to as well. Super fun. They have some of the best players
And yours
ever on their team.
And yours is the spring season, right? So
Yep.
your first game is March?
We'll open up the second week of February.
Second week of February.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I promise you we will have you back on before then to talk about your
Awesome.
current team and what's going on. And we thank you for taking the time to come off the recruiting trail and be on campus and speak with us today.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Go Owls.
Thank you.
Go Owls.
Hootie hoo. That's right. And if you could send Mr. Martin back over, and we'll wrap up with him.
All right.
So how cool is that?
It sounds like the women's lacrosse is in good hands.
Yeah, it does. Have you ever been to a lacrosse game?
I have been to a high school lacrosse game. That is the extent of it.
Kennesaw Mountain?
It was Kennesaw Mountain, and phenomenally fast sport. Until you get, it's kind of like hockey. You can think you know hockey, but when you get down there and you try to follow the puck around, it's a very fast game, and lacrosse is no exception. Very fast.
It's a fun sport to watch. I watch some of the finals when they play on ESPN, and it's new.
It is new because when you're used to watching the sports that we have been our entire lives, you start watching this guy run and you're like, well, that's too many steps. What's he doing? How's he doing it? But very very cool sport.
It is. They run around the goal and wrap from behind and stuff. Not too many goals where you can play from behind. I guess that in hockey. And I would think that lacrosse is a lot like hockey, but not on ice and not on skates.
But very fast paced.
Very fast paced, very demanding. It's you can't be a bad athlete and be a lacrosse player.
Who's the guy who just took the seat?
He's back in the hoot seat.
The hoot seat.
Woo!
Knock, knock.
So
Who's there?
Hootie.
Hootie who?
Exactly.
You said our cheer.
My favorite knock joke in the world. So thank you for bringing Darnell and Laura over to us.
Great.
I want to talk a little bit about what's coming up on the KSU schedule. I know that they open tomorrow night. The women's soccer team plays
Yes, it's a home game.
at South Alabama, right?
Yes, and you know how much you have to pay to get into the stadium?
No.
Oh, this is gonna break me, I'm sure.
Yes, it's free. Free.
Not only that, it doesn't cost anything for you Georgia
That's right.
fans. So
Damn.
Yeah. So you guys that want a cheap date, this is a place to take them.
that's
Supporting
all right.
women's
That was
soccer.
all a possibility until you told the whole world our secret.
Yeah, well,
What, that we're cheap?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's a cheap game.
yeah.
That too. And then they also.
Interesting fact is we have a young lady on the women's soccer team that is a member of the Argentina national team.
The Argentinian.
Yes.
That one.
Yes, that one.
That one.
And let me tell you, if there's a country that takes Their stuff pretty serious. It would be Argentina.
Yeah.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. I know.
Yeah.
They'll break your Vita out at this point.
So not only does the women's soccer team play tomorrow night at home, they also play Sunday at Wofford, I believe.
Yes.
And that's who we open our football season against, right?
No,
No,
we
Wofford
open
is
against
our home.
Samford.
No, Wofford is the first.
Yes.
Home game.
First home game.
Samford Bulldogs, and then we play
At Cincinnati.
at
At
Cincinnati,
Cincinnati on the
and then
10th.
we play those Terriers of
So,
Wofford.
Let me ask you this, Superfan.
Yes.
How do you like playing Cincinnati week 2?
You know, I actually find it very exciting.
I do, too.
It's I'm actually going to that game.
That's awesome.
And it's
that's really cool.
something that I think a lot of us look forward to. Is kind of a measuring stick against a team that was in the college football playoffs, and we'll see where we stand. You know, last year against Georgia Tech, you know, we kind of messed up a couple of times in the first quarter. We had a bad pitch that stopped a drive. We had a bad pitch that they intercepted and ran for a touchdown, and kind of took the wind out of our sails for a couple of weeks, and a couple of minutes. And but you know, from then on, we kind of play.
A couple pitches away from doing a little bit of something, though.
Yeah, you have to build that confidence.
Absolutely.
So.
And then the first ASUN game, as we mentioned earlier, is at Jacksonville State.
Yes, October 1st, there will be an alumni tailgate there. Did I mention that earlier?
You did?
I think
yeah.
I did.
And it's only a couple hours drive away. It's not
That's
that
right.
far to
It
go.
is very close. I've been there before.
278.
Yes,
Yeah.
Go visit Rockmart, Cedartown, and Piedmont, Alabama.
that's right. And
Don't you
turn
go through
left.
Gadsden and turn left or something like that? Yeah.
Not even the gas.
Yeah, you don't even have to go. You just I
Yeah.
think you turn left in Piedmont.
Yeah.
I always go 20th up through Anniston, but
Well, yeah, it's God's country.
yeah. So very excited about KSU sports programs. Robert and I want to thank you personally for getting us involved with this.
Well.
And we're going to have a long run here. We really enjoy this.
Absolutely.
And we're going to help bring some money to a much-needed athletic program and a much-deserving athletic program. They're doing some great things at KSU, and we want to get everybody out there involved.
Going up from here.
Going up from
That's
here.
Everything's
right.
up.
Yep. And Carrot,
Yep.
we talked about with Darnell what you had brought up earlier about giving $500 to Georgia is not much, but giving $500
$100
to
Kennesaw
KSU
State.
means everything.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure that you know part of it. If you want to be a part of it, what's that phone number? That's 470-9-GO-OWLS. So we'd love to hear from you, and we look forward to being with you again next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody you know that it's time to go Owls. Until then, have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
So over there, all we hear is the TV.